Hi everyone, this is Tam from Yogaphysio. Okay, I'm going to take you through a sequence of standing poses that involve opening the hips out to the side. So poses Warrior II, Trikonasana and Ardha Chandrasana. We'll leave Pajvakonasana for now, which is a little bit more complicated. Okay, let's just make sure this doesn't fall off. Okay, so let's start in Tadasana. And if you can have handy some bricks, a chair and a strap. Okay, you don't need the chair necessarily, but bricks and a wall and a chair maybe. Okay, so standing in Tadasana, we'll bring our attention down to our feet and just take these moments at the beginning to center and just feel into our body. Okay, all these postures are about stability and balance, so taking the time in the beginning just to really appreciate the balance and stability you have on two legs. Feel down into the feet, feeling the tripod feet, ball of the big toe, ball of the little toe and the heel all drawing together. And as you press the feet down, feel the legs enlivened, the spine energized, and feel the freedom in the upper body. Okay, with the strength and stability in the lower body, it enables a lot of freedom in the upper body. So feeling into the body. Okay, so let's step the legs wide. Hands on the hips, gently figure eight the hips. Change the direction of the figure eight. Just gently loosening into the hips, shimmying the shoulders in a complementary manner. So the first pose we're going to come into is Warrior II. So turning the right foot out to the side, left toes in, and taking a look at the alignment in the right leg. When you bend the knee, we point the knee out over the middle toes. So the leg is in the long line of the mat. In the depth of the bend, the knee sits directly above the ankle joint and it's pointing out, directed out slightly over the middle or outer toes. Okay, now we achieve that with the right outer thigh tucking down. Okay, now the pelvis opens out to the side as much as the right hip allows. Okay, the opening that doesn't come through the pelvis comes through turning through the rib cage. Okay, so don't force your hips. You don't want to be compromising the alignment in the knee. Okay, just gently opening as much as the body allows. Okay, if the thoracic doesn't turn to come into the long line of the mat, then that's fine. You can just be a little bit softer in your arm position. Okay, now give attention also to the back leg. The toes of the back foot face the same direction as the pelvis. Okay, so that's usually about 15 degrees in, unless you're very open in your hips. Okay, we're going to inhale, take the arms wide. To begin with, palms up, biceps face up, and then we'll turn the palms through the forearms, turning to place the palms down. Can you see that activation of the back of my arms? I'm pressing down like I'm pushing the hands into a plate of glass. So arms nice and strong, that engages the stability muscles around the shoulder. The triceps really important for stability of the arm bone in the shoulder joint. And we'll turn the head, focus the gaze on the right middle finger. Press the feet down again, feel the legs enlivened. Breathing up into the chest, breathing down to the tail, sensing the inhale and exhale are even in length and full. And inhale, come up, hands to the hips, feet to the front. Change sides, left foot out to 90, right toes in. So once again, bending the knees, sending it out over the middle toes, left outer thigh tucked down, so there's a nice even crease in the groin. Okay, if the knee was in, you'd feel a concentration. You see it in the fabric of your tights, more open in the outer hip, closed in the inner hip. Okay, so we want to keep that outer thigh tucking down, so we've got a nice hinge-like opening of the pelvis, opening up as much as the left hip allows. Turning through the rib cage to optimize the opening to the front. Inhale the arms high and wide, biceps facing up. Turn through the forearms to place the palms down. Activate those triceps really hard to maintain that, but that's what we're going to aim for. And then focusing the gaze on the left middle finger. Press the feet down, feel the legs super strong. Connect with the breath in the spine. And then strong in the legs, up you come. Hands to the hips, feet to the front. And let's just relax for a moment, feeling the breath in the spine. Now I like to do Warrior II before Trikonasana because Trikonasana is actually quite complex in terms of keeping the right outer thigh tucked down. Although it's a beginner's pose, to keep the alignment in the leg I think is quite a challenge. So when the knee's bent, we get really good. We've got a big landmark here telling us about where the leg's position is. In Trikonasana we can lose that. So I want you to come back into like a Warrior II, but a slightly shorter stride length. And we'll just bend the knee, and we're going to play with bending and straightening it, keeping the outer thigh tucked down. Now the alignment and arrangement of the pelvis and upper body for Trikonasana is the same as Warrior II. Okay, as the leg straightens, you feel you've got this dynamic diagonal axis from the ball of the big toe to the outer hip. So we're kind of lengthening down that axis, grounding the ball of the big toe, tucking the right outer hip down, right outer thigh down. And as the leg straightens, it straightens, but we don't lock the knee. If you feel like the knee's locking, press the shin bone forward slightly. Now, you can rest your hand on your shin, or if you've got a brick or a chair or something, then pop that to the back side of the leg, or if it's a chair, over the top of the foot. Inhale, arms high and wide, biceps face up, palms face up to begin, and then we're going to turn the palms to face forward. Okay, so here's the challenge. Keep grounding the ball of the big toe down, keep tucking the outer thigh back, and then folding forward, folding sideways. Okay, hand to the shin or hand to the brick, and reaching up to 12 o'clock. So you can see the arms stay in the same relationship to the trunk, so about 90 degrees. Depends on how deeply you come down into that position. Okay, legs straight but not locked. Turning the head down to the floor, or if it's okay for your neck and shoulder, you can turn and gaze up. And we're not putting too much weight onto the shin or the brick. Okay, the legs are still working really strong there. And keep broadening across the front of the chest, lifting the shoulder girdle. And strong straight back leg as well. And then with the strength of the legs, push down, push the body back up. Hands to the hips, feet to the front. I'll just pop my brick on the other side. So perhaps a little break there in the middle. Okay, and then turning the left foot out to 90, right toes in. Playing with that bend and straighten of the knee. Really familiarise yourself with that outer thigh tucking down. Okay, feeling like the axis through the leg isn't straight, it's diagonal from the ball of the big toe, grounding the ball of the big toe down, tucking the outer thigh back. So when the leg bends and straightens, you've got the same line. You're kind of going across the diagonal to place the knee out over the middle or outer toes. And then legs straight but not locked. Draw the kneecap up. Strong straight leg, strong straight back leg. Okay, turning through the rib cage to bring the body into the long line of the mat without compromising the knees. So you're going to be really careful in Trikonasana not to lift that buttock. Okay, that's the outer thigh tucking down. Pelvis opening out to the side only as much as the left hip allows. Inhale the arms high and wide. Bicep faces up to begin, then we'll turn through the forearms to place the palms forward. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, folding forward into the pose. Okay, keep the chest lifting, spine long as you hold your pose, feeling the breath moving up and down the spine, looking up to the fingers or down to the toes. Okay, we'll have another video sesh looking at the technique around the shoulders to keep the neck strong and comfortable. But now we're really just interested in the shape of the pose and the alignment from the lower body, from the perspective of the lower body. Okay, keep drawing the kneecap up, really hard to keep that leg muscle active. And then with the strength of the legs, pushing up. Hands to the hips, feet to the front. And breathing. Relaxing. Okay, let's have a little rest into Tadasana for a minute. So basically, to come into Ardha Chandrasana, we're preserving the same arrangement of the outwardly rotating leg as we transition onto the single leg. Now, just to assist with that, if you've got a strap handy, I'm going to get you to take your strap. Okay, it needs to be a nice long one. Okay, the white straps. Okay, if you've got a strap like this, you go in close to the fabric and then come over that middle loop. If you're working with the thicker blue straps, you might have to go over the middle and over the first D-ring. Now, when you step into the strap, so we're going to have the left foot on the left heel is on one end of the long loop, and the other end of the loop goes around the hip, and just make sure the strap's trailing back behind you. Now, if you want to get the brick ready for the position of Ardha Chandrasana, remember the brick is going to be basically an arm extender. So you want it directly under the shoulder is going to be. So that's a little bit behind the foot and about 12 inches, 30 centimetres ahead of the foot, maybe a little bit more if you're taller than me. Now to begin with, we're just going to get the feeling of the strap. So if we position ourselves back for Warrior Two, right foot out to 90, left toes in, and descend into the position, and just, you can tighten, you can pull down on that loose end of the strap, and you get that feeling of the tractioning or drawing the thigh bone into the hip joint. Okay, now this trail end of the strap's also nice to open the left shoulder, so we could have done this, could have done this for Warrior Two as well. So you get a really nice little position there, emphasizing that outward rotation of the right outer thigh. Okay, so to come into it, into Ardha Chandrasana, we're transitioning onto the single leg. So shorten your stride just a little bit, and you can come into it via Trikonasana or Warrior Two, but basically you're transitioning the weight over onto the single leg and flying the back leg up. If you've got your balance, you can keep hanging on to that loose end of the strap. Okay, which helps us to open the chest. Gazing down will be easiest for balance. Gazing up to the sky might feel impossible. Okay, and if you can keep that left shoulder opening, release the arm and stretch it up the same way we did in Trikonasana. And you can feel as you press the foot into the strap, it helps to ground or set that right femur back in the socket. A little bit of emphasis to the right outer thigh. So yeah, balance permitting, looking up. Now if it feels too difficult to come all the way down onto the brick, you can use the chair, and some of you will manage to come all the way to the floor. Okay, when you come all the way to the floor, you've got to get the leg higher, so the leg and the spine are all in the same line. And then gracefully descending. Whoops. Right, and we'll come to the second side. A little break there in Tadasana. So if you come to the other side, let's just, again, make sure you're trailing the strap backwards beyond the hip, and we'll come into the Warrior Two again. Okay, and you can get that lovely feeling of, really feels nice for the hip joint. Helps to create space in the groin. We often close into the groin in many of the poses. Now let me just see if I can arrange this so it doesn't fall. Okay, so enjoying that Warrior Two. If you like, take the hand back behind you and grab the loose end of the strap. That right hand. Okay, so getting the benefit of opening that right shoulder. That's it. So there's our kind of like a half Warrior Two again. Okay, but we'll come quite swiftly into Ardha Chandrasana. Okay, so from Trikonasana or Warrior Two, okay, you can shorten your stride length that little bit. Bring the hand down onto the brick or the chair or all the way to the floor. And you can see you've got that pelvis opening out to the side the same way we had it in Trikonasana and Warrior Two. Okay, maybe taking that strap behind the back again. So that really helps to open the top shoulder. Pressing the foot into the strap, feeling the benefit, the usefulness of the strap for the grounded leg thigh. And then as you like, bringing the arm up Keep rotating the right side of the chest to the sky, looking down to the floor or up to the hand. So no problem with using a chair. And I'll just come lower now, just so I'm the same each side. Whoops. Flying that leg up high, reaching up. Now it doesn't matter if the grounded leg's a little bit bent, better to have the grounded leg a little bit bent and the lifting leg straight. Because basically when you've got that grounded leg a little bit bent, you've got the feedback again about the alignment. If you're just locking the knee out, then you can lose that subtlety of the rotation in the hip. All right. So just quickly, a few little preparations. So Warrior Ardha Chandrasana is quite challenging. Like Warrior 3 also, when you come onto that single leg, it's hard to keep the alignment of the single leg. So spending a lot of time with the other standing poses, Warrior 2, Warrior 1, going back to those videos will help you to build up the hip strength for that. The other way you can work, of course, is to bring the hands to the wall. If it's strengthening the leg, okay, you can practice at the wall the move between Warrior 3 and Ardha Chandrasana. This can be done with the strap as well. So it just gives you a few little ideas. All right, so we'll finish with that. You might like now to go on and do some seated forward bends or something to kind of close down and relax. And I'll see you next time. Till then, enjoy yourself.